of station staff, management, and advertisers.
What's going on, everybody? A very happy Wednesday. Welcome. It is Pushing the Limits. Thank you all for being here. Of course, we're on the YouTube Super Chat, YouTube, X, the Facebook fan page. We're approaching 110,000 subs on there, and keep going, man. Keep going. We're having a good time with that on Facebook and, of course, everywhere else in the FMAM dial. Thank you so much for being here. We have a lot to get to and a lot to go over. Gas prices continuing to be a panic in the White House. We'll talk a little bit about that. And, of course, plenty more to get to with this war in Iran and the latest in the excuse-run White House as to why we invaded Iran to begin with. It seems to change every day. Oh, yeah, my good friend Adam Mockler absolutely and positively destroyed the MAGA CNN panel yesterday, so we'll have some audio to play for you there as well. And, of course, it is Wednesday, and that means co-hosting with me today will be, of course, my friend Leonard Cardinale, the longtime police officer and lieutenant out of North Las Vegas, who's seen me a little stressed out today because I've had a very late start. You'd never know it. No, Brian never seems to be stressed ever. But anyway, Leonard, what's going on, man? How you doing?
Fine.
We got to get your mic on. Yeah, we can't censor you. No, check. Don't censor Leonard.
Censoring me already? Oh, my goodness. The Republicans would love it.
Yeah, they would like to censor you and me.
I knew you'd be ready to go.
Yeah, I'm always ready to go. Not talking about my dating life, just in general. I'm ready to go. Anyway, Leonard, we do have a lot to talk about today as the situation in Iran gets worse and worse. Just in general terms, this Tomahawk missile that took the lives of at least 175 people, many of them school children between the ages of 7 and 11. It's obviously tragic. And anytime we have a loss of life, innocent loss of life, whether it be in Iran, whether it be in Israel, because we know that there are innocent people that have lost their lives in Israel as well, and then our own brave men and women in uniform, it's a tragedy. Gas prices are continuing to climb. This man said that and I use that term man very loosely, said that he would be a peace president. He said that there'd be no new wars, no new regime change. We saw what he did in Venezuela.
He promised.
Yeah, he promised. Said we see what he's doing in Iran, and it's just
he's the exact opposite of what he said that he would be. A friend of mine paid took a picture, $5.09 a gallon for gas yesterday.
Oh yeah, I paid $4.60. And I'm taking a trip out to California at the end of the month, and that's not going to be fun either. That's why I'm flying. But of course, that also affects airfare, as you know. So there are still MAGA Republicans still in Washington, D.C. that are Trump mushroom gobblers that continue to make excuses for Donald Trump. One of those is a guy that I think is absolutely reprehensible, Senator Rick Scott. I want you to listen. Oh, absolutely. I want you to listen to his appearance on CNN earlier this morning, where these are basic questions that Senator Scott is being asked, and I want you to listen to his response. Have a listen to this.
Senator, if it were possible to do so safely at this point, why isn't the U.S. Navy escorting ships through the strait?
I can't tell you the answer to that, but I think right now it's still a dangerous situation. It's going to take a while for us to get control over the Strait of Hormuz. The most important thing we can do right now, and our job right now, is we'd love to get gas prices back down. But the most important thing is destroy Iran's ability to, produce a nuclear weapon, destroy their military, their ballistic missile capability, and hopefully, right, we end up with a country that wants to work with the world community and not be constantly destroying through all their proxies. So, we all want gas prices to come down. Nobody wants gas prices higher. This president doesn't want gas prices higher. But we have to be realistic. If you believe that Iran was going to use nuclear weapons against us, we had no choice but to do this. And there are problems short term.
All right. So what do you make of that lack of a response from Rick Scott? I can't answer it right now.
Proxies and whatnot. Yeah. The bottom line is Trump said We control the air. We control the sea. We killed their navy. We have total control over everything. Well, guess what? They don't. And Iran, Iran has dared them. He dared Trump. He said, okay, yeah. He said, go ahead and escort some ships through the Strait of Hormuz. Let's see what happens. And you know what? The bluff didn't work because he didn't do it. Then he's encouraging other countries. He's saying, come on, have some guts, guys. Have some moxie. Go ahead and drive through.
Yeah, it sounded to me when listening to Rick Scott, it sounded to me like he had one of Trump's mushrooms in his mouth. That's what it sounded like to me. And then
he's got that long gobbler neck.
And then the question arises to gas prices, which has been an absolute disaster. And it's horrible. I mean, I don't want anybody, whether you're a MAGA supporter, Democrat, Republican, I don't want you spending $5, $6, $7 a gallon for gas, right? So Senator Rick Scott was asked about that, and listen to the way they answer when it comes to gas prices right now. Have a listen to this.
It's fascinating to me that Democrats now talk about gas prices. Under Obama and under Biden, they tried to destroy the U.S. oil and gas industry. So we want prices to come down. I think, unfortunately, prices are going to be up for a while until this ends. But with Venezuela coming on, with American oil and gas coming on, with hopefully a positive resolution to this conflict, then prices will come down even further. It's fascinating to me.
Yeah, unfortunately, prices are going to go up for a while. It's funny, during the Biden administration, when we were all suffering through something called a global pandemic, they blamed Joe Biden for everything. And Donald Trump said, if Trump was president, this would have never happened. By the way, gas prices started to rise as Donald Trump was president in his first term. But they blamed Joe Biden for gas prices skyrocketing. But now, when we've had just this week, the biggest spike in a 2-day spike in decades. Don't worry, folks. This is the price of war. Unfortunately, prices are going to go up for a while. We just got to eat it.
So says billionaires.
Yeah.
Like Donald Trump ever went to the pump and ever put an ounce of gas in his vehicle, and they get driven everywhere. Of course, the billionaires are like, yeah, it'll be okay. We're going to have to suffer for a while.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Nobody voted for this war, and we weren't advised of it, and no one agreed to it.
That's also extremely true, Leonard. Listen to what Senator Roger Marshall, another Trump mushroom gobbler, listen to what Marshall said on these high gas prices. I'm telling you, with these excuses that these MAGA Republicans make, it really gets worse and worse. Listen to what Roger Marshall had to say here.
I mean, I just asked because you described it as a hiccup, the gas prices and the change in the oil market that we're seeing. I mean, if they're lifting sanctions on Russia, clearly they're worried it could last longer than just a brief period, don't you think?
I don't, Caitlin. I think you're really reaching here. I think just as quickly as we took those sanctions away, we can put them back on. So I think, again, it's one day at a time. You live in this little ivory tower here. I don't think that you're dealing with the real world that the President Trump has. We don't know when the war is going to be over. We don't know when the sanctions should go back on. But I think the president on a day-to-day basis.
But how's that an ivory tower? I'm asking you about gas prices that Americans are paying that are extremely high and having wild swings, in part because of the war with Iran that the president started.
Right. So again, freedom is not free. Americans are going to have to make some sacrifices, but we're operating from a point of strength. Isn't it great that compared to when I was growing up in the 70s, we were so dependent upon Middle East oil, but now we're the largest producer of oil in the world, that we're the second biggest exporter of oil in the world. So we're not going to be shut out economically from this. We at least have the oil here. Yes, it's a worldwide commodity, but this is one of the prices of war. Are we willing to stand here for 47 years and let Iran beat the heck out of Americans and kill thousands of Americans? Or are we willing to stand up and say enough of this?
Okay, so first of all, I have a bunch of things that I'd like to say to Roger Marshall. He's the man who's not living in reality. First of all, Donald Trump is the guy that said he would lower gas prices. Second of all, Donald Trump is the guy who said we wouldn't start any new wars. There wouldn't be any new regime change, that he would be a peace president. His excuse is Americans are going to have to make some sacrifices. Really? Does that mean American soldiers losing their lives? Well, you don't go out there and serve. You don't have your family out there serving, you Marshall coward, you. But yet, to Roger Marshall, it's Caitlin Collins that's not living in reality. Why don't you tell me why we went to war then? First, we were told regime change. Then we were told civilians in Iran need to step up. Then we were told Israel forced our hand. Then we were told it's about nuclear capabilities.
2 weeks away.
Then we were told ships. Then we were told we were 3 days away. The war is over. And while Donald Trump is saying the war is just about over, you have Pete Hegseth saying this is just the beginning. But yet this SOB, Roger Marshall, has the gall to go on CNN with a very good journalist in Caitlin Collins and say she's not living in reality, another Trump mushroom gobbler. Let's go to Burgum. Burgum is another Trump mushroom gobbler who did the interviews today. Now, the New York Times claimed that those in the Trump administration, and by the way, I think the New York Times lately has done some really good reporting. They've done some really good reporting.
Trump
on this.
will be going after them next.
Yeah. Oh, they already have, by the way. They already have.
Again,
You're right. They've done some investigative reporting on this Tomahawk missile. And the New York Times claimed that the Trump administration, based on sources, were extremely surprised at how high the price of oil went up. And this is Burgum's response. Watch this interaction.
There's a lot. I'm reading the New York Times today, and they're claiming that you guys were caught by surprise that the price of oil went up. Is that true?
Completely fake news there, obviously. But one thing I would say with President Trump, who's been focused on bringing prices down since the day he took office, affordability has been a central part of this, inheriting these high prices across the board. But whether it's energy prices, prescription drugs, this entire administration has been focused on driving down prices. And the way you do that is with supply up. And of course, under President Trump, U.S. now #1 oil producer in the world, #1 LNG producer and exporter in the world. American citizens need to know that U.S. energy, we've never been in a more dominant or secure position in the history of the country than we are right now with President Trump.
Okay, so a couple things, Leonard, then I want to ask you about this. I'm talking to Burgum right now and all these MAGA Republicans that believe what he just said. If that was the case and they knew that these oil prices would be going ballistic, where was your contingency plan? If you knew that this was going to happen to hardworking people in this country, why is it that you have no contingency plan and your only message to the American people from the administration is you guys just need to suck it up and pay more gas because freedom isn't free? That's really what the entire administration is saying, from Burgum all the way up to the president of the United States. Again, if Burgum is telling the truth, which obviously he isn't, but let's just say hypothetically speaking he was, then where the hell was your contingency plan? Am I wrong?
Well, okay, here's the facts, and this is how we know that Burgum's wrong. So the U.S., even though they're the #1 producer, is a #2 exporter. So when they were starting the war, they didn't even top off their reserves. The reserves are at less than half. So the proof is they didn't take the time to put the reserves away to take care of the country, and that's in part why the price is being driven up, because they don't have enough reserve to keep the prices down. That's what happened. That's a fact, Brian. People, if they don't believe me, they can look it up on Google. It's a simple Google search.
So I agree with you. And a lot of these MAGA Republicans, as proven by one caller yesterday, refuses to Google anything. They just watch their Fox News, OAN, and Newsmax. But this was what Donald Trump had to say back in 2024. Have a listen to this. Really? I mean,
It should be steal, baby, steal, because that's what they're doing.
Is that what happened? Did he take down all?
No,
the
but because he couldn't, they're stealing it.
Yeah,
they're going to Venezuela. They're stealing. They're stealing. Yeah, they're stealing it all over the world.
Yeah.
They're taking over tankers whenever they can.
So
it should have been steal, baby, steal.
Steal, baby, steal. Well, that's really what he's done his entire life. And you're right. That's why they went into Venezuela. At least that's one of the main reasons. I think. Yeah, but he said he'll take all the prices down on day one. First of all, gas prices have spiked to ridiculous numbers, and they're much higher now than they were a year ago, number one. Number two, other than maybe the price of eggs, and I looked this up, almost every other product, we're talking like 98% of every product in the supermarket is up since day one when Donald Trump took office. That's not bringing prices down. In fact, I think one could argue that's actually the opposite of that.
I think I paid like $6 or $7 for a bag of lettuce the other day.
That's insane.
So if you go shopping, they're full of crap.
Yeah.
You know that is not the reality. You can say whatever you want about eggs or whatever, but the reality is when you go shopping, a couple of bags full of groceries is $150, $180.
Yeah. Well, Donald Trump doesn't care.
Can't lie. When was the last time he went shopping for groceries?
You think JD Vance goes to the supermarket for groceries? Do you think Kristi Noem does that sort of stuff? I mean, it's just insane. And then we move on to Senator Ashley Moody, who is another Trump mushroom gobbler. Listen to her defense of this war. She's making the case that Donald Trump and his administration have done anything and everything to avoid armed conflict. I mean, if this isn't a laughable lie, I don't know what is. Listen to this.
And I think President Trump and everyone working with him would say they are trying to do everything they can to avoid armed conflict. They want to make sure they're protecting our homeland. They're protecting Americans. They're protecting American interests. They're protecting Americans that may be abroad. And they have done everything they can think of to avoid this conflict. Now, you can't put your head in the sand and avoid threats. And what you heard there was the Secretary of War saying, we are being precise. We are not holding back. We are being precise. They want to take out where they're manufacturing and launching missiles, where they may be threatening Americans or American interests. And I believe that they have reported that they have come so far and they're well ahead of where they thought they would be at this point. So that, I believe, should be heartening to every American that wants to ensure that, number one, we're doing everything that we can do to ensure that we're avoiding armed conflict where we can, but that we're not backing down from actual threats, either to our homeland or Americans abroad. And this is so important, and I think that's what people will key in on.
None of that was accurate. None of it.
Yeah, let me start off by saying this. If you really care about threats, then why have you rolled out the red carpet for Vladimir Putin? And meanwhile, we know beyond the shadow of a doubt, and even the Trump administration has admitted to this, that Russia and Vladimir Putin have shared intelligence with Iran. Where is the sanctions for Russia, who, by the way, still involved in a war with Ukraine? And yet we've heard this week that Donald Trump has had, quote unquote, productive conversations with Vladimir Putin. Boy,
well, Russia's making all kinds of money now on the oil because the Strait of Hormuz is shut down. Now they're getting it from Russia, and Russia is selling oil and gas all over the world. They're making, from what I understand, billions of dollars.
I agree. And
was that part of the plan?
The two people that are in a far stronger position now and a better position now than they were before this war started. It's not Donald Trump. It's not America. It's Benjamin Netanyahu and Vladimir Putin. And that's what makes this thing even more dangerous, because you're putting Vladimir Putin in a stronger position. And I would also argue the Iranian government could be in a stronger position. And I know a lot of people saying, well, Brian, what do you mean? Well, when you bring younger people in there that are more capable than a feeble and old Ayatollah, then you could make the argument that Iran could be in a stronger position down the road than they were in
40, 50 years, 60 years.
Absolutely. So I think you can, and listen to Steve Witkoff. Listen, another complete imbecile. Steve Witkoff doing an interview earlier today, and now he's making the case that this had to be done, and you had to do this because this was a courageous action, apparently to put a tomahawk and end the lives of a bunch of young girls between the ages of 7 and 11 is courageous, according to him. But listen to this.
If they have children, think about what this world would look like if you didn't have Donald Trump as the president. Because in a year, if you had someone who didn't have the courage to do this action, you'd have 30 or 40 nuclear bombs. And what would the world look like there? So thank God we have a president and leadership at the helm that makes these courageous decisions. It's difficult. I went to Dover with the president. It was somber. It was terrible to see 6 families convene, all of whom had lost loved ones.
Yeah, well, I notice how he's not talking about how the president of the United States wore a baseball cap. You guys complained because Joe Biden, by the way, Joe Biden it was like a nervous tick. He did that everywhere. He'd take a quick glimpse at his watch. But you guys are still talking about that. But yet Donald Trump could show up and wear a baseball cap on his head, and he doesn't even have the decency to take it off. But you guys called black NFL football players SOBs because they took a knee. But Donald Trump can't even take his baseball cap off. And the reason why these soldiers lost their lives is because of Donald Trump. And I'm telling you right now, it's because of Donald Trump.
It was disrespectful.
Well, Brian, why don't you talk about the Iranian government? Yeah, I'm not defending the Iranian government, but those soldiers should never been there. And the only reason why we're there is because Donald Trump is an idiot. That's why.
But Brian, when he talks about the nukes and they would have had 30 or 40, first of all, it takes forever to enrich uranium, and it takes forever to have the technology to attach the atomic capabilities to a long-range missile, and they don't have intercontinental ballistic missiles yet anyway. But the uranium's at about 60%, which is kind of high, but it needs to go to 90% in order for it to be an effective weapon. And now that they've bombed them, have they found those canisters? Do they know where they are?
No.
So how did they hurt their nuclear capability? It makes no sense.
Because
his whole premise was a lie.
Because they lied 8 months ago also when they claimed that we obliterated their nuclear capabilities. That was a lie then. There's no even evidence that they have those abilities. And Tulsi Gabbard 10 months ago testified under oath to what I am saying right now. There is no evidence based on our own intelligence that they had any furthered their nuclear capabilities. And there's certainly no intelligence that would tell us that they were planning an attack on the United States of America or Israel.
Can I say something about negotiations? So in the negotiations, Iran already said, before they bombed them, okay, we won't make nuclear weapons. Iran already said, if you're worried about the canisters, they're a little bigger than the size of a scuba tank. If you're worried about the canisters of the enriched uranium, we'll take all of them and we'll let you watch, and we'll bring them to another country, and we'll let another country. So in other words, in the middle of negotiations, good faith negotiations, I think the reason that one of the reasons he bombed them is because he was going to get to a position where Iran was going to give them everything they want, but he wanted to bomb them anyway. And Netanyahu was getting impatient, and he wanted to bomb Iran, and he was on Trump. And I think Iran didn't Israel bombed first. They sent the initial bombs, so I think they put Trump in a position of having to support Netanyahu.
Yeah,
that's what I think.
I certainly don't disagree. But the bottom line here is this, ladies and gentlemen, and then we're going to move on. We were told from the get-go that this war was about regime change. We were told that somehow civilians needed to rise up. By the way, thousands of innocent
with no weapons.
By the way, thousands of innocent civilians in Iran have lost their lives. That was the first remarks that we heard from Pete Hegseth and Donald Trump. Then when that didn't work out, Marco Rubio got defensive, and he said that Israel, in a way, and I'm paraphrasing here, forced our hand, that Iran was either going to attack Israel, and then another excuse was Iran was planning an attack against the United States. And again, no evidence has shown
just a feeling, right?
Yeah.
No evidence.
Then we were told, are there going to be boots on the ground? How do you have regime change with no boots on the ground? So then they moved on to other excuses. Again, the nuclear capabilities, which we were told were obliterated 8 months ago. Then when that excuse didn't work, now they're on to something else, which is, well, we want to destroy their Marines. We want to destroy their battleships. Every single day is a new excuse from the Trump administration and Donald Trump's cronies and lies that are made up. And then when they are caught, and the New York Times does a fantastic job in covering this, that a Tomahawk missile destroyed a girls' school where a bunch of young children between the ages of 7 and 12, their lives lost, and their families will never see them again. The excuses continue, and Donald Trump blamed Iran, who, by the way, doesn't have those capabilities of doing that. And why would they do that to begin with? So I want to play you back to Caitlin Collins and Roger Marshall. Apparently, the Heritage Foundation said that there were at least 100 instances of non-citizen voter fraud since 2000. So let me repeat that again. Since 2000, there are only somewhere around 100 instances of undocumented immigrants that have voted. That isn't anywhere near widespread voter fraud, and that hasn't overturned or changed any election at all.
You're talking about hundreds of millions of votes.
Right, correct. And by the way, again, that's the Heritage Foundation. Okay. So Caitlin Collins asked Roger Marshall this very important question because, as you know, MAGA Republicans all over the country are complaining about apparently all these undocumented immigrants that are voting in elections. And she asked him about this. Have a listen to this exchange.
Trust but verifying. We want to verify people's IDs when they send in mail-in ballots. What is the objection to it? What is the election about?
Well, they're saying that there's
making
no
ballots
that there's no evidence of any non-citizens voting where it's swayed the outcome of an election. I mean, even the Heritage Foundation looked this up and said they only found 100 instances of non-citizen voter fraud since the year 2000. That's out of 1.5 billion ballots that were cast.
So what are you afraid of? What are Democrats afraid of? When
Well, it's not me. I'm not a lawmaker voting on it. I think the question is,
but you're making the
Republicans
argument.
get
You're
it
making their argument, which is your job. But again, 70% of Democrats, 80% of Americans want voter ID. And if they want to debate some of these other issues about absentee ballots, about proof of citizenship, let's debate it. But have you heard one Democrat say, a Democrat senator say, I want voter ID, that I want to make sure that our elections have integrity, that it's so important. Instead, they just throw up their hands at everything. So why don't they come to the table, come across the table, across the aisle, and let's make our elections have more integrity?
Yeah.
You doofus. Where is your evidence that we don't have integrity in our elections? Where is your evidence?
The issue is citizenship. Let's call it what it is. It's not voter ID, and that is something that I think most people would be willing to accept. What they're talking about is citizenship. They're saying you have to bring a birth certificate or a passport. And as you know, if you have elderly people or you have poor people, some people can't get to where, or don't have the money to get a passport. They no longer have their birth certificate. They don't have anybody to help them. And so what they're doing is they're saying you have to bring proof of citizenship instead of, along with the voter ID. The voter ID is not so much the issue, but you know what? Even Attorney General Barr said in front of Trump that there was no significant voter fraud that would have made a difference or even a second look in any election.
I am so sick of MAGA Republicans. Well, in general, I could just stop the sentence there. I am. But I'm also sick of them when they keep claiming that, all Democrats want open borders so that they can vote in the elections.
That's
Number
not
one,
true.
First of all, it is illegal for an undocumented immigrant to vote in these elections. That's number one. Number two, since 2000, there have only been somewhere around 100 cases of voter fraud with undocumented immigrants. And she said 1.5 billion voters. This is not an issue, but MAGA Republicans are trying to make it an issue. Why? Because what they're trying to do is they're trying to intimidate brown people from voting. They're trying to intimidate people from coming into this country and voting legally. That's really what this comes down to. And they want to make it as hard as possible for Americans and citizens to vote, those that are homeless, those that maybe don't have the means to take a bus and get an identification. I'm not saying I'm completely against voter ID. Here's what I am against. What MAGA Republicans are doing. We need to make it easier for people to get ID. We need to have programs so that if someone can't afford to get on a bus, if someone can't afford to go on the internet, that they can be helped and a ID card or somebody can go to them to help them. There needs to be things that are put in place. But MAGA Republicans don't want to do that. Why? Let's just make it very, very clear, and I'll repeat myself one more time. The more people that vote, the better chance Republicans have to lose. The more immigrants that are allowed to vote, the bigger chance Republicans have to lose. Republicans don't want more people to vote. They don't want a huge voter turnout because that spells a loss for them. That is the bottom line. That is what we are talking about here. So it doesn't come down to voter fraud or voter integrity, which is that word that, MAGA Republicans have been using since Donald Trump failed to concede the 2020 election, which, by the way, Joe Biden won a free and fair election. That's not even up for debate. Yet 6 out of 10 Republicans still think that the election was stolen. I call those people morons. So that's really what this comes down to. It is a fraud. It is a fraudulent argument from the get-go.
Do you want to read the super chats? You want to save them for later?
Let's do that
because
right
you did make an on-air promise yesterday.
I did. So let's do that. Let's do
and then
that.
you threw it on me.
I did. Why don't we do that?
So I got Xantos Gambit. I already have that one up.
Yep.
He or she says, for the MAGA thinking, quote, the school was a terrorist training camp for kids, quote, Iran, like a lot of countries, has legit school on Saturdays. Not all countries have Monday to Friday schools. Keep up the good work. You too. And I would say that CNN just had some breaking news where they said that now the Trump administration, the Department of Defense, is saying that that they had old intelligence on the school. They had, but Brian, doesn't that show that they did not prep for this attack? They did not prep for this war.
So will Donald Trump apologize when he blamed Iran? Will he apologize for getting it wrong?
He
or
said
lying?
in his book that he never apologizes. He said defend, deflect, defer, and never apologize.
It's
That's
not
what
that
he's
they had,
committed
first
to.
of all, let's just say they're telling the truth, that they had old intelligence. Who's to blame for that? Is anybody going to get fired for the over 175 children that were massacred? Is there going to be anybody that's going to be held to account? Will Donald Trump apologize? Will Pete Hegseth apologize? They not only own it, but will heads roll? Will they do anything? Will Donald Trump apologize for once again jumping the gun and saying, well, this was Iran. We believe it was Iran.
How many intelligence analysts did Kash Patel fire? How many intelligence units did he say that he wanted to save money on? How many did Doge get rid of? Well, now we're paying the price for that. There's one more up if you want me to get it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Lori Villalobos, who's one of our regulars, says the Trump boys are going into businesses with a company that makes drones and have a contract with the Defense Department. They're making money with this war. That's exactly right. It's unethical, and they're taking a look at it, and it's probably illegal because what they did was they captured one of the drones from Iran, and they only cost $20,000 to make. They brought it to America, and now they want to mass produce the drones. But his sons are part of that company, and opened up companies to do that manufacturing.
Thank you, everybody, for your YouTube super chat donations, and we'll continue to read more of them as they come in on YouTube. So I've been friends with Adam Mockler for years, right? He's in his early to mid-20s, and I started having him on another show that I had on another radio station. I interviewed him like 4 years ago when he first got started, and I said to myself, the first time I spoke to Adam, because I started to follow him years ago, and I said, Adam is going to be a superstar. And what I meant by that, and it rings true to today, is I said, this young man is extremely intelligent. I thought this about him years ago. Extremely intelligent, very well-spoken, uses facts all the time, fact checks these MAGA Republicans all the time. And I don't care how long you've been in the business, and you could be a Scott Jennings or somebody in the Trump administration or a Republican strategist, you're going to get destroyed by this kid. So last night he was on Abby Phillips' show once again. He's a regular there. I texted him last night, and I told him, how proud I was of him, man. He's just killing it over there. He's doing so great. And here's Adam Mockler last night on the show. And the topic was about bigotry because, God, he makes such a great point here. Because the point that he's trying to make, and I'll play the clip here in a moment, is that MAGA Republicans only seem to care about bigotry if it's targeted towards them. But if it's targeted towards other people, they ignore. Listen to this.
The story, to be honest.
A few things. First of all, my grandpa moved from Syria in the early 80s, and my dad's whole side of the family, they are Muslim. So anti-Muslim bigotry has been around for decades and decades. I will say, my grandpa who moved here, the Muslim community he lives in Indiana, is full of doctors, heart surgeons, people who have helped their community. I also find it very ironic that Republicans are so welcoming to any form of bigotry. They're so welcoming to anti-trans bigotry. They're so welcoming to anti-Muslim bigotry. You're making a face, but these are bigoted comments they made. But the moment that bigotry is targeted towards them, they freak the hell out. You have to stop any bigotry before it enters your movement. I just find it funny when Randy Fine will be super Islamophobic, but then he'll be on the floor whenever something is directed at Jewish people, which, by the way, you should never be bigoted towards anybody. Stop the bigotry before it enters your movement. But how do you only micro-focus on for certain forms of bigotry? I just don't.
What I find ironic is the story, to be honest.
A few things. First of all, my grandpa moved from Syria.
So it's very clear here. Adam Mockler is 150% correct. As we're having more camera issues, we apologize for that. We're working on that right now. Leonard, I think your camera's on, but unfortunately my camera's not on. That could be better or worse for, I guess, some of the listeners. Should we take a quick break? Do you want to take a quick break and then maybe we'll go back? Why don't we do that? All right, everybody, here's what we're going to do. We're going to get back to the Adam Mockler stuff. We're going to take a quick break, and we will be back with you right after this once we fix our camera issues, and then we'll take some phone calls at 702-221-7283. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back right after this. It's Pushing the Limits right here on KSHP.
Hey, everybody. Are you struggling to find a pizza place that reminds you of Brooklyn? That true blue New York style pie? Well, worry no more. Stallone's Italian Eatery Pizza is a knockout. We're located at 467 East Silverado Ranch Boulevard, just off of Premier Road, half a mile east of South Point Casino, just minutes from the Las Vegas Strip. Come by and grab a slice of pie. Plus, check out our Brooklyn-inspired Italian cuisine. Our sandwiches are super hero, that is, because why be a sub when you can be a hero? Stallone's Italian Eatery is here to serve you phenomenal food, Vegas. Forget about it.
Who would have thought there'd be so many kids playing ice hockey in the desert? Jake Helb's Hockey Foundation and the Las Vegas Ice Warriors, founded by Gina Yusufzai 8 years ago, made it possible for families who can't afford the equipment and fees. Donate today at www.hockeyforkids.org and help us continue making a difference. Join us in supporting Jake Helb's Hockey Foundation and the Las Vegas Ice Warriors, where every kid gets a shot at the starting line. Just a reminder, our website is www.hockeyforkids.org.
You are way too smart, way too talented, way too good to be where you are. You are meant to be making way more money, feel way hotter in your body, and having way more fun. Hi, I'm Nicole Mitchell, and I'm a life coach. I help you get hotter and richer. If that is what you're looking for, you can find me at NicoleMitchell.com. My name, Nicole, is with a K, Nikole.
Boost your health, boost your life beyond wellness. Family Practice and Urgent Care Clinic, a proud sponsor of USC football. 5580 West Flamingo and Lindell, Suite 106. Revitalize and rehydrate with our 20-plus IV cocktails. Plus, customize your weight loss journey with our tailored injection packages. Plus, our experienced providers at our state-of-the-art facility, all covered by your insurance. Call now, toll-free, 855-380-6136. Remember, at Beyond Wellness, be happy, be healthy, be well.
If you live in Clark County, you are at risk of developing non-smoking lung cancer. Radon is a naturally occurring radioactive gas that gets into homes and increases one's risk of lung cancer, and it exists here in Clark County. Radon is colorless and odorless, so the only way you know if your radon level is elevated in your home or office is by testing. To get your free test kit, visit our website with a new interactive map to find a pickup location nearest you at www.extension.unr.edu/radon. 21,000 people die of lung cancer each year, and Nevadans are at a higher risk. If an elevated level of radon is found, there are ways to reduce it and lower the risk of getting lung cancer. Get your free test kit today. Visit our website with a new interactive map to find a pickup location nearest you at www.extension.unr.edu/radon. Sponsored by the University of Nevada, Reno Extension's Radon Education Program, and aired in cooperation with the Nevada Broadcasters Association and this station.
Mama Bird is a Southern-inspired kitchen and smokehouse. Our restaurant celebrates and revives what it means to be homemade backyard smoking with a fresh, modern take on traditional dishes. We invite guests to reminisce of the time gone by, where Southern homes and backyards were always open to welcoming neighbors and folks just passing through. From Old Dixie Fried Chicken to low and smoked Texas brisket. Located at 10550 Southern Highland and Cactus. See you there.
Get ready, Vegas. Here comes the Chris Thomas Show on KSHP Radio, 107.1 FM and 1400 AM. Starting this Wednesday and Thursday at 10 a.m. and Friday. And every Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Yes, BET's first comic host of Rap City and award-winning comedian Chris the Man Thomas will be on KSHP with the Chris Thomas Show with TMZ's Layla Lopez, iconic Rap City The Basement host DJ Mad Link, Public Enemies, Terminator X, and hip-hop journalist Soaring Baker on the Chris Thomas Show at 10 a.m. Wednesday and Thursday and Friday. This Wednesday, sponsored by 100% sucker-free brands and the Ebony Inn Barbecue DMV. Tune in.
Dream vacation for a week. Over 1,500 sold. A $3,700 value, good for a 7-night, 8-day vacation stay at the resort of your choice. DreamVacationWeek.com. Enjoy the ease of booking your vacation with these prepaid discounted gift cards. You are only responsible for the taxes and occupancy fees. For a studio, only $309 a week. One bedroom, $379. And for 2 or more bedrooms, only $409 a week. Destinations include Las Vegas, Orlando, Cape Cod, Hilton Head, Scottsdale, Arizona, Lake Tahoe, Park City, Utah, Breckenridge, and hundreds of international destinations in Asia, Europe, Latin America, and the Caribbean.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Pushing the limits on a Wednesday with Leonard Cardinal, who's been waiting patiently there. Thank you, Leonard, for being here. We had a few glitches when it came to, but it appears as though, cross your fingers, things are working now. So I appreciate everybody's patience, including Leonard's. I'm a very impatient person, as you can tell.
No.
So I get a little bit impatient. I don't know. Maybe
I never noticed.
Maybe it's my attention deficit disorder. I don't know what it is.
Your what?
Or
My
maybe
attention.
maybe
My
it's,
attention.
maybe it's my diet. I don't know. I have like a Donald Trump diet. Thank God I don't have his physique.
You like your McDonald's?
Sometimes.
Yeah, every once in a while.
French
Pretty
fries
good.
are really good.
Yeah, they make
Fries
the best
are really
French
good.
fries.
But so I wanted to start off this segment, and then we're going to take calls, talking about my friend Adam Mockler. As I had mentioned, I've been interviewing Adam Mockler for years, and I think he's just great. I think he does a great job using facts to destroy these MAGA
And he's not, and you could tell by the look on his face, not intimidated by these guys. No. And he told the guy, "I know you're laughing, but hold on."
Yeah, so I want to play that clip for you. So this is Adam Mockler, who is talking about right-wing hypocrisy, right? In this case, when it comes to bigotry. Because as you know, as long as bigotry is attacking others and not them, they seem to be totally okay with it. J.D. Vance is a perfect example of that. But listen to Adam Mockler destroy this MAGA panel in talking about the right-wing hypocrisy when it comes to bigotry.
A few things. First of all, my grandpa moved from Syria in the early 80s, and my dad's whole side of the family, they are Muslim. So anti-Muslim bigotry has been around for decades and decades. I will say, my grandpa who moved here, the Muslim community he lives in Indiana, is full of doctors, heart surgeons, people who have helped their community. I also find it very ironic that Republicans are so welcoming to any form of bigotry. They're so welcoming to anti-trans bigotry. They're so welcoming to anti-Muslim bigotry. You're making a face, but these are bigoted comments they made. But the moment that bigotry is targeted towards them, they freak the hell out. You have to stop any bigotry before it enters your movement. I just find it funny when Randy Fine will be super Islamophobic, but then he'll be on the floor whenever something is directed at Jewish people, which, by the way, you should never be bigoted towards anybody. Stop the bigotry before it enters your movement. But how do you only micro-focus on for certain forms of bigotry? I just don't.
What I find ironic is
Yeah. So Adam Mockler's 100. I would imagine you agree with him as I do. If you attack them, then they have a problem with bigotry.
It was okay when they said they're eating the dogs or eating the cats.
Yeah, that was okay, right?
They're all bad people.
Right.
Yeah, that was okay. But as soon as it gets directed at them, they want to point the finger of righteousness.
How often do we hear about attacks? White people are now being the victim of all these attacks, and there is no such thing as white privilege, and look at the attacks on the white race and this and that. Like they want to play victimhood. Me being a white person, I find that repulsive.
I don't ever play a victim, no matter what's going on. I just handle whatever. Like Adam, he just handled them. He didn't sit there like a victim and go, "Well, you guys are picking on me," and he just went right back at them. But
notice the silence. They didn't have much to say.
Well, one lady, I forget her name, but she had that look on her face like, really? Really?
Yeah, Monahan is the lady that I interviewed about a month ago. She's a complete imbecile. But Adam Mockler then was asked about Lindsey Graham, neocon boomers, and these neocon boomers. And I just love his response to this. Have a listen.
Saying that he was anti-war to being very interested in doing whatever he thinks he needs to do.
You want to know what makes me so angry listening to people like Lindsey Graham and listening to the $1 billion a day toll is that the neocon boomers surrounding Donald Trump are mortgaging my generation's future for another endless, maybe endless, but another very expensive Middle Eastern war. We tried this with Iraq. We tried this with Afghanistan. It left us in trillions and trillions of dollars in debt. We pay $1 trillion per year just on the interest for our debt. This is amassing, and it's going to affect my generations for decades to come because the old people know they can start wars because young people don't have the power to stop them. So the old people make us foot the bill. And you know what I don't like the most out of all this is the gaslighting. They say that it's fiscally irresponsible for us to invest in healthcare, for us to invest at home and my generation in the future. The Affordable Care Act subsidies that they were arguing over were $50 billion, $50 billion, and they've already asked for $50 billion. So there's just
All right. So first of all, think about all the money that we've spent on this war in a week, and think about all the families that would still be able to be on Medicaid. They're taking away Medicaid, 20 million people. They're taking away food stamps, as you know, Leonard, for millions of people. But yet, when it comes to war, we have all the money in the world, don't we? These MAGA Republicans want to take away from the American people. But then when it comes to an ill-advised war, we have infinite amount of money. Don't you find that interesting?
Yeah, we're the only major country, mostly Democratic, that doesn't have universal health care for everyone. We're the only one. Even Russia and even North Korea have a partial health care program for their people. We're the only one that makes it private and you have to pay for your own.
I agree. And this is not, I'm not defending Donald Trump. I never have. But this is not just a Donald Trump problem. This is a Republican Party problem. This didn't start under Donald Trump. Okay. I can go back to George W. Bush. The big tax breaks under the Bush administration as well. Maybe not as big as the Trump administration, where it was, the top 1% receiving $100 billion in tax cuts. They take away, Republicans I'm talking about now, not Democrats. They take away from the most needy people in this country. I mentioned it before. I'll mention it again. Healthcare, Medicaid, food stamps, maternity leave, basically any government program that can help someone that's struggling in this country, welfare, you name it. Tax cuts for middle-class Americans.
Why they claim they're Christians.
Yeah, exactly. But then when we have a war, in this case, another ill-advised war, just like the war in Iraq, apparently we can just print money.
I guess it's just going to have to cost some billions, I guess.
Yeah, that's really what they sound like. You sound like Tommy Tuberville. That's what they sound like.
It's about fighting evil, and we're going to have to print a few $1 billion of your money. By the way, money we didn't agree to, and our representatives didn't agree to, and no one knew about.
I mean, am I in the twilight zone here? That's what the Republican Party has done since I grew up. I'm 45.
What about Mitt Romney? He said, and in the debate years ago, he said, the question was, if you're a 34-year-old man and you don't have health coverage, and you go to the hospital and they won't take care of you and you might die, what do you think we should do? And he said, well, I guess he's just going to have to die. I remember watching him say that and say, well, he should have planned like my family. Well, you know what? That's very unrealistic to say something like that.
I did not always agree with Mitt Romney. I will say this about Mitt Romney. He's
doing better.
He's better than a lot of the Republicans are today, but he's not in office anymore. But not to defend him on that, because obviously I disagree with him. Again, how can you be a Republican today and support this party today in 2026? How can you be okay with taking away food stamps and welfare and every government program from people that are struggling
and lie about it,
and be okay with these tomahawks and in an ill-advised war in Iran where the president and Pete Hegseth have lied? They've given excuse after excuse after excuse. Yeah, we know the Iranian regime. We know they're bad people. We know they harbor terrorists. Yes, we know that. But that doesn't mean we go in there and we take care of that before we take care of our own here. That's the Republican Party. And again, it went on with Adam Mockler because the topic also was about ICE. And they were talking about the midterms. And this is the reason why Republicans are one of many reasons why the Republicans are going to it's going to be a bloodbath for Republicans in the midterms. And I believe in 2028 as well, if things keep going the way they're going. But I want you to listen to Adam Mockler make the case to the American people and to the MAGA panelists on CNN last night about this very topic.
I think that's where we're at.
To build on that, Stephen Miller and Donald Trump were the ones who placed themselves in between the rock and the hard place by using this insane immigration rhetoric. The Department of Homeland Security account posted a few months back that they wanted to deport 100 million Americans. There are 50 million immigrants, both legally and illegally, and then 50 million other people in this country who could be deported by this administration. They want to deport 100 million immigrants. They've talked about immigrants. The Department of Homeland Security posted that and called for remigration. So they're definitely pushing an extreme policy that the American people don't like. And I just want to say the American people will not forget the images of Renee Nicole Good and Alex Preddy being shot. The American people will not forget the constitutional rights that were trampled on. They won't forget homes being entered with no warrant or people being pushed to the ground because they're simply recording, which is a constitutional right. So this administration is overstepped. Now they're running away from their core policy, but keeping the same position, which is not a good look for them.
So well said again by Adam Mockler, and he's right. Even independents, by the way, Donald Trump is polling abysmal. 1 in 4 independents support this administration. That's a really bad number for Republicans who already don't have the majority.
They're going to decide the midterms.
Yeah. So I believe Adam's right on the ball with this one, as he normally is. People aren't going to forget what happened to Renee Good and Alex Preddy. People aren't going to forget how they terrorized the city of Minneapolis. People aren't going to forget what's going on in this country. People aren't going to forget how they lost their health care coverage. Many of these people are Trump supporters.
Wait till you see the ads.
They've lost
before the midterms.
Oh, I can't wait.
I think the Dems are going to crush them.
They've lost Medicaid coverage. They've lost food stamps. And now we're in an ill-advised war in Iran. He's talked about an America First agenda. What happened in Venezuela is, if at all, is benefiting his donors in the fossil fuel industry. It's not benefiting the American people. Does anybody really feel safer now than they did a year and a half ago? I certainly don't. You're a former cop. Are we safer now than we were a year ago?
No,
I don't
and
feel that way.
recently, Pete Hegseth and his administration wouldn't allow intelligence that was gathered in America warning police and law enforcement about possible attacks, and they refused to let that intelligence go out over the wire until they got caught.
Yeah, I mean, it's just.
And what about the tariffs? They illegally took money, and they won't, but they won't give it back.
Well, it's worse than that.
They're losing lawsuits, and they're like, well, we don't know where it is. We don't have the money.
It's worse than that. First of all, you're right. The number's somewhere around $175 billion. Imagine what that could do to feed families. That's number one. Number two, their only retort to it is, well, you can go ahead and sue us.
And they are.
Yeah.
But now the administration is saying, well, it's been used and it's been earmarked for other projects. And everybody's argument is, okay, well, it was real easy to take that money, right? When they assessed the tariffs, the lines were open and they made them pay. And why not just give the money back? And now they're hemming and hawing. And I think that those lawsuits are going to go through, but who knows if they'll ever get their money? I don't know. Do you think they'll ever get their monny back?
No.
Another bad
Did we ever get those
Trump
Doge checks?
policy.
Did we get the Doge checks?
And Trump still said, as of a week ago, that or the other countries pay them tariffs. He doesn't. Yeah. He's got to understand by now, Brian. He has to know by now.
We're not getting
that's
those,
not the truth.
We're not getting those tariff checks. We're certainly not getting those Doge checks. And then Adam Mockler, one more clip I want to play for you. He makes the point, as I try to make on this show every day, that Trump was the guy that ran on an America First agenda. And Mockler just destroys these Trump mushroom gobblers on this panel last night, talking about how he's doing the absolute opposite. Have a listen to this.
Just think about how much chaos the Trump administration has caused in the past few weeks. They have spiked oil prices. They've shuttered stock markets across the globe. They posted a tweet today. Our energy secretary, Chris Wright, posted a tweet today saying that a ship was escorted through the Strait of Hormuz, and he deleted it within 10 minutes, which just absolutely blew up markets across the globe. Donald Trump has made the world more catastrophic after saying that he would be America First, anti-interventionist. He said that he was a populist, make America great again person. But instead, Russia now has more ability to not only kill Ukrainians, but to target or to help Iran target U.S. troops. We saw 8 U.S. troops die. Hold up. We saw 8 U.S. troops die. And when we learn that Russia is providing Iran with intelligence, this administration is apathetic to it. They're like, oh, they're not doing as good of a job as they could. They said that Russia might not, what did they say? Russia isn't doing a good job helping Iran because Iran's not doing well. They're just apathetic to the fact that
if Iran is denied a nuclear weapon, is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Of course, it's a good thing. Of course.
So is it worth taking some strategic risk? Is it worth taking some economic risk?
The word strategic. I'm going to take problem with the word strategic. There was no strategy from this. Listen,
is it
1 minute ago?
Is it worth?
1 minute ago.
Are you on the phone? You got Pete Hegseth on that phone?
I'm not. It's funny to me that 1 minute ago you said Senator Chris Murphy was not trustworthy, but in your mind, Pete Hegseth is trustworthy. Okay, but in your mind, Pete Hegseth is not partisan
and left a classified briefing just to come out and poop on the.
Is Donald Trump partisan in his rhetoric around this? Is Pete Hegseth? Is Lindsey Graham? I can point to anyone in this administration that is leading this effort, and they are hyper partisan, and they're honestly making us look bad. We Americans should be terrified about this.
Yeah. So Adam Mockler makes a good point. These MAGA Republicans, when it comes to somebody like a Chris Murphy or somebody that's challenging the administration on this war, oh, we don't trust Chris Murphy. We don't trust any of the Democrats, but somehow they're making it partisan. But Donald Trump and his administration aren't making this. They make everything partisan, everything from gas prices to the economy to inflation. And then
the first thing he does is blame Democrats.
And then And then when things go wrong or stats come out, they fire the people who put out the numbers. Everything about this administration is partisan. And these MAGA morons on CNN have the gall to say that, oh, I don't trust Chris Murphy when he's challenging Trump on the war because he's just a partisan hack. These people are not credible.
Well, they're not dealing in facts. The fact is they haven't done anything about the nuclear weapons. The fact is they changed the regime. They changed bad for bad or possibly bad for worse. We don't know yet.
Right.
They tried to tell the people to uprise, gave them no weapons. And by the way, the Kurds that they were going to arm, that were up in the hills, that were hiding, that were going to come down and help them, the Kurds decided not to do it because they were going to get slaughtered.
Yeah. Well, I agree. So the bottom line here is this: Adam Mockler's an extremely intelligent young man, and I think it says something.
He's a good guy.
It says something about these paid contributors. All respect to Adam Mockler, he's great, but it says something about these CNN MAGA contributors. It says a little something about them. They just get absolutely chewed and thrown away from Adam Mockler. He just destroys them. Before I take phone calls at 702-221-7283, and again, that number to call if you want to be a part of the conversation is 702-221-SAVE, 702-221-7283. All right, so Leonard, there are a few YouTube super chats that I
from
want
some
to
of our
read off.
favorites.
Yes, go right ahead and fire those off for me.
I have Lori Villalobos. Brian, what do you think about the governor of Colorado might give Tina Peters clemency? It would be bad if they do that. Hope we all have a midterm.
I had Tina Peters on this program about 6 months ago. If you missed it, you want to go on my YouTube page and watch it because she claimed she had Hunter Biden's laptop. I'm not making that up. I would feel the same way about if you gave that nut job Tina Peters a pardon or clemency. Same way I feel about Enrique Tarrio or any of these other January 6th.
It would send a terrible message.
Yeah, among that as well. Yep.
Okay, so Shelley, one of our regulars, one of our favorites, I might say, says Trump has never, nor will he apologize for anything he puts the American people through because he doesn't care. He only cares about himself. And you know, Shelley, you're 100% correct.
Mm-hmm.
And he wrote a book about it, and he said he's never going to. You know, narcissists don't apologize; they never do.
Nope.
And sociopaths, they don't even feel like they're wrong, and never mind getting an apology from them. And I think we have. No, I don't. Okay, that's the same.
Yeah,
one.
we'll get back to the YouTube super chat here in a moment. Again, the number to call if you want to be a part of the conversation. If you're a MAGA supporter and you agree with this war, you disagree with anything that myself or Leonard have said, you're welcome to call in. The number again is 702-221-SAVE, 702-221-7283. All right, let's get to the phone calls right now. And I believe our first caller is Bobby, if I'm not mistaken. What's up, Bobby?
Hi, is this Brian? Am I in the air?
Yes, you are. Go right ahead.
Is this really Bobby?
So I'm Bobby, and I've been listening to the show, and I got to tell you, I don't know who hurt you when you were a kid, but the fact that all you keep talking about is war and orange guy bad over and over again.
Okay, so what do you disagree with me on? Instead of making a generalization, I've given you a number of reasons why I'm not a Donald Trump supporter. Liable abuser, 34-count felon, an ill-advised war, inflation. I've talked about tariffs. The war in Ukraine is still going strong. He's embarrassing us in front of the world. I can give you a
Go ahead, Bobby. Impress us.
Yeah, well, what do you disagree with me on, Bobby?
Well, I'm just saying that as a talk show host, shouldn't you have more topics than just the same two or three that you just
Hold on a second. Okay, so hold on a second. So Bobby, Fox News, OAN, Newsmax, CNN, MSNBC, every single news outlet is talking about the war in Iran. That is what we've talked about today. We've talked about the war in Iran and my criticism.
And yesterday, and the day before.
And what are all the other networks? So what should we be talking about? Okay, welcome everybody to Pushing the Limits on a Wednesday.
We can't talk about peripheral topics. No one would listen.
Welcome everybody to Pushing the Limits on a Wednesday. Brian and Leonard are out sick today. Hosting the show today is Bobby. Bobby, take it away.
Well, first of all, I think that we should have men playing in women's sports.
Okay, so let's go with that. Okay, so you think to start the show today, to lead the show today, Bobby? I'm sure you have a journalism degree. You sound very intelligent.
Hundreds of thousands of people are listening.
To start the show today, Bobby, we shouldn't be talking about the Iran war. We shouldn't be talking about the economy or any of the other issues that every other network is talking about. But according to Bobby, we should lead off the show today and talk about transgenders. Is that correct? Is that your opinion?
Well, at least it's different than everybody else.
Oh, well, I think you're different than you're not different. Yeah, you're different too than most people.
So you just want.
So what's your
you just
problem?
want different, Bobby? That's what you want. You're like, I need something different.
Yeah.
You like nothing substantive, nothing important, just something different, right?
Well, let's go back to the transgender thing. Let's see. Hold on, Bobby. Shut up. Bobby, shut up. You said you wanted to talk about transgenders. What about transgenders affects you negatively in your life, Bobby, that you think it's so important?
What has it done to you?
I said men in women's sports.
Okay,
but why are you
let's talk
why do you
about
care?
that. Hold on. Bobby, how many Division I athletes are transgender women in Division I college sports? How many?
3.
Less than 10. So by your own
tens of thousands.
Yeah. So hold on. Less than 10, there are transgender athletes in Division I college sports, but you think that's a prevalent topic to talk about?
Well, I think it's just something different than.
Were you? Let me ask him something, Brian. Bobby, were you a man? Were you a man in women's sports, or were you a woman in man's sports? How does it affect you personally? If it's so important to you and you're thinking about it and it's on your mind, what is the issue that you have other than you're being judgmental and cruel to other people? How does it affect you personally? That's what Brian is asking.
I'm trans. I was a man. I'm as a female
There you go.
now. I understand how the philosophy.
Don't believe him.
How the muscle works, and when I take all my
The muscle.
different blockers, how they affect.
Yeah,
me
I don't
and
believe
how I
you.
understand
Where did you
how
get your
a man-
surgery? What hospital? Where'd you get your surgery?
I understand how a man.
Where did you get your surgery? What hospital?
It was in Colorado.
Yeah, I don't believe you at all. What hospital in Colorado? Name the hospital.
It's personal, Brian.
Oh, you don't want to tell
yeah.
you liar. Let me tell you something. There are more. Be quiet.
How
there are
long
more,
has he thought about
There are
this
more American.
before he called?
There are more American soldiers that have lost their lives in Iran than there are trans athletes at the Division I college level. Do you understand
You
that?
don't want to talk about that.
Do you understand that, you doofus?
You spoke about that on Monday, and you spoke about that.
Then don't listen to my show. Guess what? Hey, doofus, guess what? I don't care whether you listen or not. You have the right not to listen to this show. If you don't like me talking about the biggest news stories of the last 24 hours, which, by the way, is not transgenders in women's sports, then you have the right to change the channel and go listen to Mark Levin or some other Trump mushroom gobbler that I'm sure you agree with, because I know.
There it is, the Trump mushroom.
Yeah, well, who did you vote for?
Yeah.
Did you vote for Trump? Yes or no?
I respect the president.
Did you vote for Trump? Yeah, I
What's
didn't
his
ask
real
you.
name?
I didn't ask you.
What's your
Did you
real
vote-
name?
Did you vote? Did you vote for Trump? Yes or no? Answer the question.
I respect.
I didn't
all of
ask
our
you.
presidents.
I didn't ask you if you respect the president. That's a different question. I'm going to ask you now for a third.
He voted for Trump.
Did you vote for Trump? Yes or no?
Yes, I did vote.
Oh,
Of course
what a-
he did. Of
what a
course, we knew
shocker.
that.
Well, Bobby, here's what I'm going to give you some advice.
I respected Biden.
Bobby, I
Respect
don't
him.
care.
And now
I don't care.
respect Trump.
I don't
I
care.
respect
Bobby,
all of our
you know how sometimes right wingers say that transgenders are all mentally ill? Do you know how that's like a talking point for people on the right? You've heard that, right, Bobby?
No, I don't.
Oh,
No,
okay.
I haven't.
What a shocker. Well, Donald Trump has said that also. Let me be very clear. I don't believe all transgenders are mentally ill. I believe you're mentally ill. You're ill-informed. You're uneducated.
I'm trying to call you to have a conversation.
Get out of here.
I know, but
You're
you're
a
having
clown.
you're having a conversation about something that has very low relevance. Most of the people who listen here, and Brian is very good at focusing on what's really relevant in America, what's really happening right now, this morning, last night,
Bobby.
yesterday, and you have to stay on it, Brian.
In closing,
Why does he not want you to stay on it?
I agree. In closing, Bobby would rather me talking about transgender women in women's sports than the war in Iran, where men and women and brave men and women in uniform are losing their lives. Bobby, you can go fly a kite and have a nice day. Go make out with Lindsey Graham or whatever it is you want to do. 702-221-7283. Let's go to Kenny. Kenny is next up on PTL. Hello, Kenny.
Brian,
Yes, sir.
your show is incredible today. It's incredible. But whatever. Hey, I watch 5 days a week. I love Leonard.
Oh, another
When
fan.
he's my-
Yes.
No, for Lenny, yeah.
So JD, what relevant? What do you have to say today? You have a
Yeah,
question or a
that'd be-
comment, or
that'd be great.
Or what's
Yeah.
important to you, brother?
No.
Is he drunk?
Comments? No, everything you're talking about. No, I'm not happy what's going on now.
Well, that's good to know. I'm not happy either.
Well, I'm not happy, but you guys are incredible. Brian, you're a very intelligent guy. I'm a construction guy. I'm very intelligent with construction, but what you do is incredible.
Well, I appreciate
And,
that. Where do you live, my friend?
Schenectady, New York.
Oh, you're all the way in New York.
Yeah,
Wow. How about
cold?
that?
Must be cold there now.
No, it isn't. Is that? I think it's like 68 degrees here.
What are your thoughts on the war in Iran? Do you agree with me that this is an ill-advised war?
No.
Yeah.
No.
So let me ask you something, JD, if you don't mind. Do you believe that we blew up the girls' school? You think that was a Tomahawk missile from America and they accidentally hit that school?
I don't think that.
Yeah.
That's disgusting.
Kenny, I appreciate your kind words. They mean a lot. And I want to know what you're drinking, by the way, because on a Friday night, I'm gonna have a glass of whatever.
Well, I wanted to tell him that Dunkin' Donuts has very, very strong coffee. Just a recommendation.
Fair enough.
Very strong coffee.
Kenny, I do appreciate your kind words, though. Thank you, sir. I appreciate you. 702-221-7283 is the number to call. Let's go to Jeff. Can we go to Jeff next? Yeah, Jeff is on line 5. Thank you, Chuck. Jeff, what's going on?
Hey, how you doing? The main beneficiaries of this war is, Poindexter, the speaker.
Yeah.
Louisiana and Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
They're the main producers of all of the weaponry that we have. All the bombs and the tomahawks. So
sure.
Those states are the ones that are benefiting the most from this war because of the stockpile that gets reduced.
Yeah.
Of these weapons.
Yeah.
On the voting thing, Trump was very happy, with the press conference because nobody brought up, Epstein or the immigration in Milwaukee. But on the voting thing, most Republicans vote on the day of voting and they wait in line for like hours. I personally, use the mail-in ballot, but I fill it out and then I sign the envelope and then I go drop it in at the box and they check it and then I'm out of there in a minute. But they like to wait in line for 2 or 3 hours.
Yeah, unfortunately, waiting in line for 2 or 3 hours would be absolute hell for me, right, Leonard?
Well, they know that they're trying to limit and do away with and put rules on mail-in voting because traditionally. With the Democrats, the Republicans get crushed with the mail-in voting. It usually is a very big deal. So little by little, they're trying to incrementally find ways to cut down and make sure that Democrats either have a tough time voting or they're intimidated with their voting or they just give up because it's too complicated. So I understand the plan, but I don't think it's going to work in the long run, Jeff.
Thank you for the phone call, Jeff. I appreciate you. I appreciate it. 702-221-7283 is the number to call as we're having some more camera issues. 702-221-7283 is the number to call if you want to be a part of the program. Hopefully we can get that camera issue taken care of. Let's go to Joe. Joe is next on PTL. Hello, Joe. Hi, Joe. Are you there?
Joe, you're on.
Joe, go right ahead.
Hey, Brian, I love your show, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
Could we just start off with the start of the war real quick?
Sure.
I don't agree with Trump, first of all. I don't remember if everybody knows that he had a talking down to all the Republicans about fix this or I'll start a war. I don't care what you guys got to do. I don't know if you remember that. It's on ad.
Well, I remember him saying that if Obama were to start a war with Iran, that would make him more popular. I remember him saying that.
Yeah, but I think he also said something to the Republicans. You fix this, start a war. I don't care, or I'm going to take all of you down.
Here's what I do know, though, and I don't recall that. It wouldn't surprise me, but here's what I do know for sure. This is a guy who ran on, as you know, this is a guy who ran on the peace president. He ran on, I'm not going to start any new wars. He ran on no new regime. Everything and anything that this guy says that he runs on is a lie. I'm going to build a wall and Mexico's going to pay for it. I'm going to hire a special prosecutor to go after Hillary Clinton. Even the tax on tips. He didn't run on $25,000 cap on tax on tips. He ran on no tax on tips. That's all they talk.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, they still say that. No tax on tips. No, it's a $25,000 cap. He didn't say $25,000 cap.
And all of them make more than $25,000. Every single one of them.
Of
and you still have to file your taxes and you still have to pay, and then you might get some of it back.
Yeah, I mean, it's an absolute everything. He's a con artist.
He's a liar.
Marco Rubio was right. Marco Rubio was right. This man is a con artist, criminal. That is what he is. His own children stole from the Trump-owned charity. Okay, you think Don Jr. and Eric Trump would ever serve? You think Barron's going to serve? You think Donald Trump would have started this war if somehow Barron signed up to fight this war? Of course not. Of course not. It's a farce, is what it is. And Donald Trump is a snake oil salesman. That's what he is. I think we have another super chat if you want to read that. Thank you for the call, my friend. I really, truly appreciate you. Let's go back to the YouTube super chat because I know a lot of people's questions and comments want to be read, Leonard. And I know
This is the Ottawa Guy 40. Hi, guys. Love American cousins. We love Canada, too. Where the heck is the Democratic leadership reference this war? Trump has proven he can start a war without the House or Senate. In other words, midterm loss is useless. I don't agree with that.
I don't know if I agree with that either. But
he's going to be held to account.
Yeah, we do need laws put in place, but we appreciate your YouTube super chat. Thank you. Let's get back to the phone calls at 702-221-7283. Let's see, who are we going to next here? Let's go to who are we going to next here? Let's go to Lou. Lou is next up on PTL. Hey, Lou, thanks for calling in. What's on your mind? Hi, Lou.
Hey, Ryan. Good afternoon, guys. How you doing?
Good. What's on your mind today?
Ryan, I think Trump is a desperate man right now, and I think he'll do anything to get a win, and he doesn't realize he's digging himself a deeper hole. We need to crush in the midterms. We need to get the House back, get some of these Republican congressmen and senators out of there because all they're there for is they don't understand they work for the people and they don't work for Trump. We need to get them out of there.
I think that is well said, Lou, and I couldn't have said it better myself, and I completely 100% agree with you, and I appreciate your call. Let's see. Let's go to John. John is next up on PTL. Hey, John. Thanks for calling in. What's on your mind? Hi, John.
Hey, Brian.
Yeah, what's up, John?
I think the thing that really should worry Americans is the fact that Trump is so not good at the long game that with oil prices as high as they are, there's a possibility that he may have misjudged how much is actually in the reserves, and we could easily be doing things like forced conservation.
John, here's the problem, and I agree with you. There was no planning here. It was an impulse decision by Donald Trump. There was no planning here, and because of that, not only did you have thousands of Americans stranded in Iran, but America wasn't ready for this. I mean, we didn't know 3 weeks ago. I don't even think Trump knew 3 weeks ago that we'd have to pay $5 a gallon for gas. These people, there are people now. You know who the people who are forced to conserve, John? As you know, people like you and me. There are people out there in society that can't even afford to fill up their gas tank. And they're forced, well, we can't drive here. We can't go there. It's not only horrible for Americans in general, it's horrible for the economy. It's horrible. People aren't getting out there and going on vacation as much. It's across the board. It's terrible. There was no preparation by this Trump regime. None. Zero. And now look at where we're at right now, John.
We're deep. Well, I don't like cuss, but we're deep. You know what?
Yeah. Unfortunately, John, I agree with you, my friend, and I wish you the best. And I thank you for calling.
Hang in there. Vote in the midterms.
Yep. That's what we got to do. 702-221-7283. The number to call again if you want to be a part of the conversation is 702-221-SAVES. Let's go to James. James is next on PTL. Hey, James, what's going on, man?
Man, how's it going?
Good.
So would you like to talk about something in particular?
Yeah,
Well,
let's
today's
talk
topics.
let's talk about James' sex life. Let's do that. James, how's the sex
My
life?
sex life.
Yeah, how is it? Is it good?
Would you like to,
Lower your radio first,
uh,
my friend. Lower your radio. I'm teasing you, James. Usually when people call in,
Okay, all right.
I'm just teasing you, James. It's okay. Usually when
We thought it might be interesting.
Yeah, usually when people call in, they want to talk about the topics that we're talking about on the air, which is obviously James, the Iran war. That's the main topic that we're talking about today, gas prices and how it's affecting the economy. So do you have an opinion on that, James?
Well, to be honest, Nick
Why is James laughing? Why is he laughing?
Because he was cursing.
Okay.
He was using racial slurs.
He cursed
So,
on you.
so another racist took an opportunity
Yep.
to call in and thought that he gets beeped out on radio.
Well, I knew when he called in and he like, what you want to talk about today? He didn't really have anything intelligent to say. I knew that from James.
What y'all want to talk about today, Brian?
What they do is they use their little Trump fingers, and they have nothing better to do than to call into this radio show. They can't argue or debate anything that we're talking about today, but if it makes their day to call into this show and act stupid for 10 seconds, then I really feel bad.
The laugh sounded more like a gobble to me.
Yeah.
At the very end there, I think it was actually, it sounded like a throaty gobble sound.
702-221-7283. Let's go to Paul. Paul is next up on PTL. Paul calling all the way from the UK. What's up, Paul?
UK Paul.
Hey, Leonard. Hi. How are you?
Good.
Good, Paul. Good to hear from you.
Right. I wasn't going to call in tonight. I was just listening to the show. It's excellent, as always. But the one, I noticed the caller, he said, he was a MAGA guy, and he said, I respect the office of the presidency. And you can slide by on that one at first, thinking we all do. This isn't the point. The point here is that your president doesn't respect the office of the presidency.
Right. I was going to say that. That's a good point.
He doesn't respect it. Even Nixon respected it but mostly respected the office of the president. Trump doesn't.
That's true.
He completely not only disrespects the office, he disrespects the American people and everything else that makes up America. He's the distillation of everything bad in America.
Paul,
And
can I
he
ask you a
certainly
question?
doesn't respect the office.
Can I ask you a question? Do you think it's right that Trump is mad at Starmer? Because, first of all, Trump did not warn the UK or any of the European allies that he was going to attack Iran. And now, after the fact, he wants everyone's help. Do you think that's fair?
Of course it's not. And Starmer, I give him some credit here. I listened to him in question time today, and he's sticking his feet in the ground. He's standing firm, and he's done the right thing. And I was on another radio show, a very, very good one in the UK, a guy called James O'Brien on LBC. And he asked me, do you think Charles should go to America? I said, not only should he not go to America, because a king's visit's an honor, but we shouldn't play the World Cup in America in protest to what Trump's done.
You know what? Can I tell you,
Paul?
Paul, I wouldn't blame you guys. I wouldn't blame you guys, and I wouldn't blame people all over the world for making decisions like that. When you look at, and again, I wish, it pains me to say this, but I understand. I understand why there are more people, including some of our allies, that hate this country. I would hope they would have the wherewithal to understand that this isn't what the majority of American people feel or think. This is Donald Trump and his policies. But then when you have 70 million Americans that voted for him, it's very hard to defend. It's very hard to defend.
Yeah, he went and started a fight, and he's like, "Where are you guys?" It's like, wait a minute, you didn't tell us about it. You didn't warn us. You didn't let us know that we were getting involved. And he didn't ask for any support. He just bombed them.
Right.
No, it's ridiculous. He goes and starts the war and says, come on, guys, now come in. He didn't talk to anybody. What rights he got to ask for any support? What right? No right.
Yeah.
He's not a good friend, and he's not a good neighbor.
Of course he's not. And I listened to a pretty respected British pundit the other day say the thing that we've always called the special relationship doesn't exist anymore.
No. Not like it did during the Iraq War, not like it did
You're right,
on 9/11. No, it's definitely different.
Paul, you're 100% correct. Go ahead, Paul. What were you saying? Oh, go ahead and finish.
I was going to say that after 9/11, we were 100% with you, with America. All British people were happy.
They were in lockstep. They were.
Us being deployed, we were incensed by what we saw on that TV, and we were incensed for America. And we've always had everybody has a difficult relationship with America. It's always going to be the case with the most powerful country in the world. But overall, we believe that America's ideology leans towards the good and the betterment of mankind. I believe that the true ideology of America leads that. And Donald Trump has what?
Great call.
On it.
Great call, Paul.
Always
as
good to hear
always.
from you,
It's
Paul.
Always
Okay.
wonderful to hear from you, Paul, and I appreciate your call. 702-221-7283. Derek, I believe, is next up on PTL. Hello, Derek.
Hey, how are you?
What's on your mind, Derek? What's up?
Hey, so I wanted to talk about the Iran war.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So personally, I think what we're doing is extremely right. Mainly because of how many people have been killed. What's your thought?
Wait.
Why is it
Hold on,
extremely
hold on,
right?
Hold on. You said it's. I want to make sure I got you right. It's extremely right
so
because of the amount of people
how
who
many
were
Americans?
who were killed. Is that what you just said?
Yeah, how many Americans were killed because of the Iranian terrorist attack?
Okay, hold on,
Like
hold
any
on,
terrorist
hold on,
attack,
hold on,
any-
hold on. First
ahead.
of all, there wasn't a terrorist attack on this country from Iran. That's number one. This wasn't retaliation or anything to that extent. Number two, thousands of innocent Iranian civilians have died. We've lost soldiers, and I'm wondering, what was the threat? What proof have you seen? What was the threat that Iran had to the United States of America that you've seen, that the White House has articulated with us? What was that threat?
Nuclear power, correct?
There has been no evidence. First of all,
You want
were
me to
we
help
not
him out?
told? We were not told 8 months ago that we obliterated their nuclear capabilities. Did the Trump administration not say that? Did you not believe them? Were they lying?
Pictures that they were rebuilding it?
Were they lying?
What did he say?
There's no pictures that they were rebuilding it. There's no evidence that they have.
are.
Okay,
There
so then
is.
why did Tulsi Gabbard testify under oath that that's not the case and they had no evidence that they were furthering their nuclear capabilities? Tulsi Gabbard testified under oath. She works in the Trump administration. Now they're not letting her talk. Why is that, sir?
Well, excuse my language, but how many dumbasses?
No. First of all, you're not going to swear. I'll pod you back up. Your language is not excused. If you do it again, the conversation is over. So first we were told. So are you making the case, sir, Derek? Are you making the case that we went to war because of their nuclear capabilities? So it wasn't all the other reasons that they brought up. Regime change.
There's a million reasons. But
There's a million reasons. Okay, so what are those reasons? So there's no evidence that they furthered their nuclear capabilities. By the way, we've heard the same for the last 30 years. They haven't shown any new evidence that they furthered their nuclear capabilities. So you don't have any evidence other than taking Donald Trump's word, which I think is a joke. Give me another reason, please, sir.
No, you've got a good point.
Can I help you out?
Okay, hold on.
Can I help him out?
One more sec. Go ahead, Leonard. Say your thing, and then I want to give
Derek,
him the opportunity.
I'm going to help you
out.
out, Derek, because this is what I think you meant.
Thank you.
When you said killing people. What you're saying is that they're one of the sponsors of terrorist groups all over the world. And those
That's
people...
true.
Okay, and I agree with him on that.
That's true.
But he said this is an excellent war. But let me ask you this. If your issue is they sponsored terrorism all over the world, how is attacking them even put a dent in that or stop the ideology or the money flow at all? That's what I'm. If you think the war helped that, you got to explain how, because I'm not seeing it.
Well, that's what I was going to ask him next, Leonard, and that's a good question.
I know, I jumped in. I know.
So that's okay. So Derek, I appreciate you calling in, knowing that we would disagree. I do think it takes some guts to do that, and I do appreciate that. So Derek, we've talked about the nuclear capabilities. I think we have an agreement somewhere there. Give me. You were going to.
He said people.
He was going to give some other
for
reasons.
killing people.
So I want to give
Yeah.
Derek the opportunity to give another reason. Go ahead, Derek.
Instead of another reason, can I bring up Israel real quick?
Yeah.
Yeah. So honestly, I think Israel plotted the JFK assassination.
Okay, first of all, what does that have to do with the Iran war? I'm not gonna.
I want to
Derek,
Yeah, that's
Derek,
way- that's too
Derek,
far off topic.
Derek, this conversation has nothing to do with JFK, and I'm not interested in your conspiracy theories. Okay, let's remain on topic. You said
Fair enough.
you said there's a million reasons. Give me another reason.
Another reason?
Yeah. I don't
Why
stutter.
do you love this war?
Yeah. Well, hold on. Yeah. Go ahead. Give me another reason.
Well, let's talk about the economy, the economic part.
Yeah, let's
okay,
talk
yeah.
So that
Yeah.
to China and Russia and all of its other allies. Us taking Iran, however you say it, that really is going to help us in the end. because
Really,
our
it's going to help. Okay,
Help us.
let's talk about the economy. First of all, this war is going to cost us trillions of dollars.
And Russia's getting rich.
Are you aware of how it's enriched Vladimir Putin and Russia and Benjamin Netanyahu? Are you also aware of the money we're putting in this while we take Medicaid and food stamps away from Americans? What the hell are you talking about? Do you understand, sir, that we're still paying off the Iraq war where we were told weapons of mass destruction, which was a lie? Are you even aware of the thousands of soldiers that we lost there? And yes, we are. It's not my fault. It's
No, he's you're
Okay,
misinformed,
Derek,
Derek.
I'm going to say this in the nicest way possible. Okay.
Go ahead.
You are extreme, and I'm trying to be very respectful here because you've been somewhat respectful as well. You are extremely, no, you haven't been. You are just extremely ill-informed. We are still paying off the Iraq war. Thousands of soldiers lost their lives, hundreds of thousands of innocent Iraqi civilians. If you are okay with this war, you haven't articulated one reasonable, one reasonable. I gave you the facts when it came to the nuclear capabilities. If there was a smoking gun and there was actually a valid reason where the Trump administration could articulate it, don't you think they would have by now? They haven't shown us any evidence, just like George W. Bush with the weapons of mass destruction. Give me another reason. The economy, I can name you 1,000 reasons, and I've given you a few. Have you seen where gas prices are at now? Have you seen the economy and where we're headed right now? Have you seen the stock market? Okay, so stop saying the economy and give me something else.
Yeah, you've got a fair point. I don't have any more reasons.
Derek, can I give him some advice?
Hold on one second, Leonard, and I promise you, I apologize, Leonard, just give me one more second. With what I've just told you, are you willing to change your opinion now? Can you be a man and say, geez, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong on this
Maybe
war.
not change my opinion. I think I'd rather go educate myself a little more.
Okay.
Oh my God, that was going to be my
Leonard, go
advice,
ahead.
Derek. That was my advice.
Yeah.
So what I would do is, if you're okay with researching, look up a little bit of U.S. history, look up some world history, some political science, geopolitical science, economics, macro and micro, and see how and kind of work your way back. Start with today, work your way back, go back to the beginning of the 2000s and the 90s, and the Iraq war and the Iran war and the difference, and see how it's
Let me
affecting
ask
fuel prices. And if you like to call in radio shows, educate yourself. And I'm just saying this in a very nice way. Get some facts, get some knowledge, and then call back with your points.
Derek, if you don't mind me asking, did you vote for Donald Trump?
Actually, I did not vote.
Okay. Why not? Do you mind telling us why?
At the time, I was underage.
Okay, so you're 18.
I would have voted for Kanye, honestly, though.
If you like debating,
so you would have
study.
voted. So you would have voted for Kamala. Is that what you just said?
No, Kanye West.
Kanye West.
Okay, so I'm starting to question your seriousness now, but Kanye West is the guy. Okay, well, not a funny joke.
Yeah, but you're wasting your vote.
Not
You're
a fun-
wasting
Hold on, Leonard. Not a funny joke, and I'll tell you why. Do you know Kanye West is basically a Nazi lover? I mean, why would you praise somebody like Adolf? Like he praises Mustache Man. Why would you? Well, I don't think
Holocaust denier.
I don't think there's anything funny about war, and I don't think there's anything funny about Kanye West, who is mentally ill. I want to know right now, if the election was today, would you vote for Kamala Harris or Donald Trump?
I would vote for Donald Trump.
Why? What has he done positive for the country? Why?
Well, first off, Donald Trump. Look his Save Act. Is it the Save Act thing?
And what is the Save Act? Look at the what is the Save Act?
Yeah, what are the provisions?
Yeah, what's the Save Act? What is it?
Basically where voters have to show ID. A few other things. Basically,
a little bit.
providing security.
It's a little bit more than that. So you think voters having to show ID is more important than the president who hasn't conceded an election, and we had something called January 6th. You think that's more important than the economy and the tariffs and the $175 billion that he stole from the American people. You think the Save Act is more important than the guy who's leading the country, who's named thousands of times in the Epstein files. You think that's more important than an ill-advised war? You think that's more important than the guy who banged a porn star, raw dogged a porn star, breaking campaign finance violations, and a 34-count felon and a liable abuser? You think the Save Act is more important than the guy who bragged about going into teenage girls' locker rooms without their permission? You think the Save Act is more important than that stuff?
There's absolutely no proof for that.
You have no proof of that. Was he found liable? Was he found liable for abuse in a court of law? Yes or no?
I'm not informed on that.
Right, exactly. You're not okay.
Why are you
Hold on. Derek, the answer is yes. Derek, be quiet. Derek, be quiet and listen. You asked me a question. I wasn't done answering it. Be quiet because I'm going to educate you. He was found liable for abuse in a court of law. He was found guilty on 34 felony counts. He's named thousands of times in the. Excuse me. What? Come again?
Did he pay his way out?
Did he pay what?
Like, did he bribe his way out of the case?
I just told you he was found guilty. Do you speak English, sir? Sir, be quiet. Be quiet and listen and stop talking. He was found guilty. Be quiet. He was found guilty on 34 felony counts. He bragged about going into teenage girls' locker rooms and watching them undress without their permission. He said it on the Howard Stern show. He's named thousands of times in the Epstein files, more than Jesus is named in the Bible. Those are not opinions. That's what we call facts. It's not my fault that you're ill-informed.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Yeah,
Have
how
a
can
nice
you-
day.
how can you
Have
take
a
a
nice
position?
day. You're making my audience dumber by the second. Have a nice day.
How can you call in to argue and then be like, well, I
Fair
don't
enough.
really
Fair enough.
know about that.
Yeah, fair enough.
I don't know about
Ladies
that.
and gentlemen.
What do you want to talk about? Well, I
ladies-
don't know about that.
Ladies and gentlemen, Donald Trump's base right there. 702-221-7283. Thank
I
you.
don't
for
know
the
about
call.
that.
Thank you for the call, Derek. Let's go to Trish. Trish is next.
Study.
Up?
Study.
What's up, Trish? Hi, Trish. Go right ahead. You're next on PTL. Go right ahead, Trish. Are you there? Trish, are you there?
No, Trish?
Yes, sorry. Okay. I have actually a few points, so let me get to that really quickly. And to go over exactly what this man is talking about, it's called by psychologists motivated ignorance. Okay?
I didn't know there was such a thing.
Yes, it's actually it's a professional terminology. Motivated ignorance, like Weird Warren and that congressman last week that
Yeah.
didn't know anything.
Yeah.
Let me read to you what motivated ignorance is: the active, intentional avoidance of informational facts because knowing them is too uncomfortable, costly, or threatening to one's beliefs, identity, or social standing. It is a form of willfully blinding oneself to reality to maintain comfort or protect a person or group identity.
That sounds like MAGA to me. That sounds like the definition of MAGA.
Sounds like Derek, who just called in.
Really? I mean, a lot of them are like that. They intentionally stay uninformed so they can say stupid stuff online and on the news and then just laugh about it.
Yes, but now you know what it's called. And I have a few other points, if I may.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, I've diagnosed it something very different, my dear. I call it TFS. It's also known as Trump fellatio syndrome. And I don't think it can be fixed.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well,
Intentional
I have a few more.
incompetence.
I have TDS, Trump derangement, Trump delusional syndrome, Trump delirious syndrome, Trump dumb syndrome, Trump deceptive syndrome. Okay.
There's quite a few.
I have a few more.
Are you a psychologist, Trish?
No, I just read a lot.
Oh, because I was going to ask you if you thought Trump qualified for a megalomaniac.
Yeah, some MAGA supporters don't know how to read.
I'm said it wrong. Megalomaniac.
Another point, two more points I want to make, and then I'll go because I know you have other people. With all the money we spent on this war, guys, 330 million Americans here. How many millions we spent on this war?
Billions.
If that money was given to each of us would be multi-millionaires. You realize that?
Oh, there's no question about that. And it's not only that. It's as you know, my dear, and I appreciate the call, is that what I'm worried about is Americans that are suffering, that are living paycheck to paycheck. I mean, that's what I'm really concerned about, right? Those that are struggling. 702-221-7283 is the number to call. All right, let's go to Jason. Jason is next up on PTL. What's up, Jason?
All right, you allow me 4 quick bullet points.
Sure.
Number one, Adam Mockler made a mockery out of the mushroom goblin. Number one.
Yeah, he did.
Number two, it was sad to see a general sitting there. I gotta watch the whole show of Abby Phillips. It's sad to see a general who is no longer in service. I understand he's pensioned and all that, but he just let them just spew lie after lie. And if we ain't got ex-military that's going to fight for us, we're kind of in trouble. Number three, I couldn't stand that 2 actual senators said that all Muslims need to be deported. If that's the case, all MAGA needs to be deported. It's not your country. You came over as a visitor. So all Ahab, David, Nelson, you all need to be deported to Antarctica and freeze your balls off. And last but not least, I don't know how you do it, but I give you mad kudos because I cannot and will not tolerate any MAGA at all. I can't be.
Well, I have some good news for you. Warren Smith will not be appearing on the show Friday, so that'll make a lot of people happy. I've made a strategic decision. I as big of a following as Warren has, I'm not going to have him on the show. Jason, I do agree. I do agree with you, and I appreciate your
Can
call.
I do Warren with you real quick?
Yeah.
Can I do that? Well, it depends on what you mean by the word appreciate.
Yeah, give me your
what's the definition of appreciate?
God.
What? Oh, you called somebody the N-word In what context was that?
Yeah, it's just I can't.
I mean, he's just really
listen.
he's out there, dude.
I'm going to be in a good mood this weekend. I'm going to a lot of basketball games.
Yes.
I'm going to do things that make me happy, Leonard. I'm going to enjoy myself. I know I don't always seem like I'm enjoying myself on the
I
radio.
seem like you're having fun.
Deep down inside, Leonard, I really am. You
Seems
see
like
me,
it to me.
You see me, Leonard's. You know, it's funny because Leonard has never seen me outside of this radio show. He's never seen.
We did lunch once.
That could be good or bad. That's true. We did have lunch one time. 702-221-7283 is the number to call. Debbie is next up on PTL. What's up, Debbie? Hi, Debbie. What's going on?
Debbie.
Is Debbie in the building? I think we lost Debbie. 702-221-7283 is the number to call. Why don't we go to Andy? I believe Andy is next up on PTL. That one phone line open. What's up, Andy?
Hey, Trish, the caller you had before.
Yeah.
The one that talked about she's a genius. That's exactly.
That was a
what it
perfect
is.
definition.
I mean, take that and run with it, man, because it's true. These Trumpers, they're like that lady in that movie Airplane. Remember? Where she's panicking, right? And everybody's flying up with a bat and boxing gloves and all this. Yeah, they need to be strapped down, their eyelids wide open, and they just sit there and watch CNN or something else. Because the truth is, it's about their fifis, you know?
I agree.
It hurts their feelings.
I agree. My favorite part though of Airplane is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. One of my favorite scenes, and digress a little bit here because we're obviously, and I agree with you.
That
sir,
movie was hilarious.
But I agree with you what you said, sir. But my favorite scene is when that little kid goes in there to meet Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and he goes, "My daddy says you don't play hard and you don't play hard enough and you don't run back on defense." And then he grabs the kid and says, "You tell your dad." I'm paraphrasing here, but he's like, he gets so angry. And he's like, "You tell your dad you don't know what it's like to play 90 games a year and back to back." It's just such a fun.
The guy kept saying, "I picked a bad week to give up smoking. I picked a bad week to give up methamphetamines."
Yeah. Those.
And don't call me Shirley.
Don't call me. Oh, yeah. That was what was his name again? The late great from the Naked Gun movies. What was his name? Nielsen or
white hair.
Oh, what the hell?
I know from.
Maybe
Leslie Nielsen.
Leslie Nielsen. Yeah, that guy. I met Leslie Nielsen at a charity golf tournament in Connecticut when I was a kid. And I said, "Leslie, you know, can I get your autograph?" and all this other stuff. And he had this honking thing, and he honks it in my face. And he's like, every time I talked, he would honk it in my face. And then he was just laughing and he gave me a high five and he gave me an autograph. Such a genius, that guy.
That movie was hilarious.
Yeah, those are Airplane. The movie Office Space is one of my favorite. Dumb and Dumber, but there's quite a few. Anyway, I digress, sir. I digress.
One last thing.
Yes.
Next time you talk to JoJo from Jersey.
Yeah.
Put in a good word for me.
I
don't know. You think you can keep up with that energy?
Yeah,
that
I
girl
like
has some energy.
I
My
like that.
goodness.
I like this caller. Thank you, sir. JoJo is the best, by the way. We're actually allegedly going to hang out this summer. She's coming out to Vegas. She is awesome.
She's growing in popularity fast.
Well, she doesn't need it. I mean, she's been so popular for so long. She's got millions of followers, and she'll do this show anytime, and I'm very grateful to her. All right, who do we got next here that maybe I can do battle with? Tyler? Let's go to Tyler. Tyler next on PTL. What's up, Tyler?
Hey, Brian.
What's up, Tyler?
I have a couple questions for you. Hopefully I sound okay. I apologize if I don't.
You sound like you're on an Obama phone, but that's okay. Go ahead, Tyler.
He must be a Dem.
Perfect. Yeah, so I got a couple questions. So I noticed you have a lot of like TDS, and I'm trying to figure it out.
What is it? What hold on. Let's try to figure this out together. What have I said on this show that would lead you to believe that I'm deranged?
Oh yeah, well definitely the hyper focus on an individual.
He's the president. He's the president. Hold on. The hyper focus on an individual. He's the president of the United States that's responsible for us going to war in Iran. Would you say that Fox News and OAN and Newsmax
It's on every
Would you
news
say
station
Fox
constantly.
News, OAN, and Newsmax also have TDS? Because they're also focusing on one individual. He's called Donald J. Trump. So you lost that argument. What have I said that's deranged? Talking about Donald Trump being the president of the United States doesn't mean that I'm deranged any more than Fox News talking about Barack Obama for 8 years. So you failed there. I think you have Trump fellatio syndrome. I think you have something called TFS. So give me a reason why you think I'm deranged. Go ahead.
Done yet? All right. Yeah, I find it really weird that you constantly want to call his wife. You call her I'm not sure what I could say on the radio, but you're
What
very,
what did I say specifically that you
in
disagree
what
with?
context?
Let me start this over again. Let's start this over again together, okay? What have I said specifically on the show today that would lead you to believe that I'm deranged? Talk.
No, not today. Not today.
Oh, not today. Okay, nothing.
What about the other day when you? What about last week?
Yeah,
Nothing. Okay, so I didn't say. Okay.
calling her that she's a whore.
Never use that word. Hold on. Stop. Stop.
You got to be accurate,
Hold on.
Tyler.
Hold on, Leonard. I have never used those terms on the air. You are 100% false. You can't name anything that I said today that is deranged. So give me something specifically that I have said. You just lied. I have never used those terms to talk about anybody on the air like that. So please give me and be specific and don't lie. Give me something that I have said that would lead you to believe that I am deranged. Go ahead, sir, as we pod you back up on the air.
I think attributing that when on the supposed Howard Stern show that Donald Trump had like looking at little girls. I encourage.
I never use that term. Hold on. You're lying again. Stop. The problem is you don't know how to listen. And nope. He bragged. Why don't you be quiet and listen now, Mr. TFS, Trump fellatio syndrome? He went on the Howard Stern show on a pageant that he owned. These were teenage girls. He bragged about going in there without their permission, openly admitted that some of these girls were half naked. He didn't have permission to go in there. Multiple girls in that locker room that are now adults have said he didn't have permission to go in there, and that actually happened. He bragged about it. For you to defend it makes you deranged. How does that make me deranged, you fool?
Brian.
Don't. No. I'm trying to help you out. What did I say specifically that would lead you to believe that I'm deranged? I'm just using his own words that he talked about on the Howard Stern show. Don't try to be funny and say that you're trying to help me out because you're embarrassing yourself. Okay. Again, for the third time, what did I say specifically? By the way, you couldn't name anything on this show. What have I said specifically that you said? Tell me. What did I say?
Do you know what a lie is?
What have I lied about? Go ahead. What did I?
Saying that someone was gloating about going into teenage girls' cotton.
That's not a lie. Hey, dumbbell. He said it himself on the Howard Stern show. Again, as our camera's not working in the middle of a phone call. He said it on the Howard Stern show. What is wrong with you? What did I lie about?
He bragged about it. It was him.
We played the audio. Hey, dumbbell. Hey, TFS. Hey, TF. Take the MAGA wax out of your ears. Take your Trump knee pads off, Mr. TFS, and I'll spell it out for you once again, Mr. Derangement Syndrome. He bragged about going into those locker rooms without their permission. He joked about the fact that he was able to see some of them half naked because he owned the pageant. Witnesses, including a makeup artist who once called into the show who was in that room, and multiple women that were in there that were once teenagers, corroborated the story. So are they lying, sir? Are they also deranged, or are they also deranged, or are you just an idiot? Which one is it, sir?
That's messed up.
No, you're messed up. You're an idiot. He admitted to doing it on the Howard Stern show. You see, sir, I'm going to give you some advice. When you call into a show and say somebody's deranged, you need to have evidence to back it up. I think you're deranged. I think you're an imbecile. Why? Because your whole premise of this call was saying that I'm a liar. You couldn't name a lie. Your whole premise of this call was to say, Brian, why do you always talk about the president of the United States when every other national network does the same thing? I guess Fox.
Most people in America are talking about it.
You've embarrassed yourself and you don't know how to articulate an argument. You are an imbecile who probably graduated from Trump University. So tonight, here's what I recommend you do. Continue to pleasure yourself to your Donald Trump poster and go ahead and listen to Right Wing Talk Radio and Jesse Waters. Do you understand? You are the one that suffers from the derangement, and you are the one that suffers from Trump fellatio syndrome. So my only question to you, sir, my only question to you, sir, is What time do you take your Donald Trump knee pads off before you go to sleep?
No, those are 24/7.
Actual views.
Have a nice day, doofus. You just embarrassed yourself, doofus. Go back to Trump University where you graduated from.
He must be one of them. He must feel
And
like
get-
the way Trump
yeah,
does.
yeah, all
I
right.
just grab him by the pee. I just forcibly kiss him.
What a doofus. Let's go to the, let's see, who do we have here next? Let's go to the MAGA destroyer. Got to go to Darlene. What's up, Darlene?
Hey guys, hi Leonard.
Hi, Darlene.
Listen,
Good to hear from you.
I'm pissed about something because I got to thinking about it. I have a message to the so-called white national Christians and the MAGAs and the Republicans. I demand, and a lot of women demand, we want our rights back and we want them now. I want you to reverse Roe versus Wade, and I'll tell you the reason why. You guys come on us about, oh, if you have to have abortion or something, and you don't even know what the reason is, but you're all against that. But yet you guys defend that dingleberry in the White House that he can go over there and kill children in Iran. How dare you? Don't you ever tell me again that women are wrong because if they have a, you know, y'all don't know the situation why they have to have abortion, but yet you guys support all the little kids getting killed. What do y'all think about that, guys?
Darlene,
I think the white national Christian movement is a bunch of hypocrites, and they don't seem to be Christians to me at all because they agree with taking food out of children's mouths. They agree with taking health care away from people who can't otherwise afford it. Does that really sound Christian to you, Darlene?
Of course it's not Christian. And Darlene, it's great to hear from you, my dear, and I really do appreciate your phone call. 702-221-7283. Do we have time to maybe
squeeze it in?
Sneak in another phone call. I know we have a lot of people on hold, and I apologize again, as I seem to do a lot with the technical issues we've been having today with the camera. But we'll,
a double Leonard.
Yeah, double Leonard now is on. So we'll try to work that out so it doesn't happen tomorrow, and we apologize for those technical difficulties that we've been having throughout the show today. And it's not Numchuck's fault. But Leonard, it's been another lively show. Do we have any other YouTube super chats that maybe we can share?
I think there was one that we missed, but I'm not sure.
Yeah. Well, Numchuck will check on that for us, and I'll have you read those, Numchuck, if we can get that up there. But I'm amazed at the stupidity of some of these people. It never ceases to. It's just.
You know, they
go
just
ahead.
call in to be silly, Brian, and they're not serious people. And what I said to that one kid, I forget his name, Kenny maybe. You know, yeah, go study a little bit. When you call Brian, call in and have some facts, have a good lucid argument. Say this is why I believe we should do it. This is why. But just calling in and being silly and calling you names and stuff is just, you know, that's just really a waste of time. But I think they get off on it. I don't know why.
Sometimes they do.
You think that? So we have one from David. I can't read that name. TX a bunch. Oh, thanks a bunch. To what degree do you think we should worry out for Iranian U.S. citizens being rounded up in camps like the government did in Japan in World War II? We got to protect our citizens. And what they did to the Japanese people in America was terrible after World War II. And they put them in camps, took away their rights. And I honestly don't see that happening in modern day. I don't think that. But thank you for your comment. I don't think we're going to see that.
I think we got another.
Okay. James Carr says, love the content. Kept it simple.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that, James.
He's been a member for 2 months.
Thanks, James, for your support. I appreciate you.
Thanks, James.
So one of my favorite guests, Wajahat Ali, is going to be joining us on the program tomorrow. That's going to be a lot of fun. We love Wajahat. So he's going to be joining us on the program tomorrow. We'll try to fix the camera issues that we've been having here today. We apologize for that. And hopefully we'll get
Alex Stein was a little rough.
Yeah, Alex is Alex. What can I tell you? But we have some special guests. Leonard, it's always great to see you here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I appreciate you being here as always and dealing with these MAGA nut cases. But it's always it's somewhat entertaining at times, but also sad. A little bit of both, entertaining and sad. But Leonard, always good to have you here. And I do appreciate you being here, Leonard. Thank you so much. Check out my website. Thank you, Leonard. Check out my website, pushingthelimits.live. Again, that website, pushingthelimits.live, where your questions and comments also in the super chat. We appreciate that as well. And pushingthelimits.live, where you can make donations, $5, $10, $20 a month. man, whatever you can afford, we so greatly appreciate it, and it helps us keep the lights on here. So thank you so much for that. Leonard will also be filling in for me a little bit here at the end of the month. So looking forward to Leonard doing that. And Ryan Shedd will also be filling in for me. So
Ryan's a good guy.
Yeah, Ryan's great. Leonard, appreciate it. We'll see you guys tomorrow, same time, same place. Have a great day, everybody.
Thanks, Dump Chuck.